Okay. So welcome everyone to the MLP course. So this is the first session we have for this course in this semester. So MLP basically, as you all know, this is a practical course, and you must have done the MLT and MLF course in the past as well. So you will have a good idea of what those courses taught you about the concepts in ML. So in the MLP course, what we'll do is we'll try to implement these concepts on a real world data set, okay, so that we can learn how real world data sets work and how we can apply ML algorithms to real world data sets, right? So I'll start with the session now. So we'll basically in this live session, what we will do is we will be coding side by side so that we can see how these concepts can be implemented and it makes things easier for you as well. So have you all gone through the lectures of week one? Have you seen the sessions of week one? So any questions first of all before I begin? Otherwise, I'll just start the screen sharing of the Google Colab and we can begin with that. Okay.
Sir, are you talking about Pandas lectures?
Yeah, pandas, week one.
Yeah, yeah, done.
Done, right? Okay, great. So I'll give you a quick recap of how pandas work and we'll see some basic operations in pandas so that we can apply them and that makes things easy for us as well. Okay, so let's begin. So pandas basically is the library of Python which is used for data analysis. Okay, that's why this title you can see pandas is used for exploratory data analysis, which means a lot of data which we have, a lot of chunks of data which we'll see commonly as Excel files, CSV files, or data from the internet. We can upload them to pandas and analyze them with the use of pandas. Okay, that makes things very easy for us, right? So firstly, to begin with, we have to import pandas because it's a library of Python. So just like any other library, we have to import it, right? So we'll import pandas and we can just give it a short form as PD because that makes things easier for us to use. We don't have to write the name pandas every time, right? So we'll import pandas as PD, and after that, we can basically take any data set from Excel or something and we'll be able to analyze that with the help of pandas. So let's see how that is done. Okay. So before we start with building custom datasets and analyzing them, I'll show you one dataset which I'll be using for this session. So this is a products dataset. So what you can see here is in every row of this dataset, we will see a name of a product. We'll see the category, like if it's a clothing product, it's a book, or it's a food, all those categories of the products will be available. Then we'll see the price of the product, which is basically in rupees. You can assume it's a decimal value, and the quantity, that is how much of the product has been sold. Okay. So this simple data set we'll be working with, I think this data set has around 500 rows and these 4 columns. So it's a decent data set to start off with, right? To understand how we can use pandas and analyze such data sets with pandas. Okay. But before we move on to learning how we can actually analyze such data sets, we'll also try to understand how pandas operates internally and what data does actually, when we send some data to pandas, what that actually refers to. Okay, that we'll try to understand first. Okay, so everything is fine, right? You can see my screen, right? Any problem with that? Right. Okay. So yeah, so let's begin with the first topic. So the first thing is whenever you are uploading any data to pandas, there are two data types that you actually work with. One is a series data type and one is the data frame data type. Now, when I talk about data type, I think everyone knows what a data type is. So if I simply say that if I write a simple Python code, that is, I give a variable x and I say this variable x is equal to 2.0, right? This is a variable that I've given and I execute this simple command type of x. So what do you think the answer will be for this? What will be the data type of this particular variable x? And
Float.
someone else? Float, right? So you will see that it's float. Obviously, because it's a decimal, so I got my value as float. Now, suppose I remove this. Do you think it will still be float or will it be something different?
Integer.
Integer, right? So it's an int float. So we see the type int. So basically, my point was whenever we have data and we put some value into the data has an assigned data type in it as well. Now, obviously, if I change this to this, it will be a string now, right? Because I have changed it to a word with inverted comma, so this becomes a string. Okay. Now, before we move into all these, let's again go back to pandas. In the same way, when you have data types in Python, pandas is a library of Python. In pandas, to work with pandas, we need to also understand two data types which are useful for pandas itself. Okay, and the first data type is a series, and the second data type is a data frame. I'll start with the data frame first because obviously the series is something which is very similar to a list. Okay, so we'll see that as well. But let's try to understand first what a data frame is, because once you're clear with what a data frame is, you'll be able to understand what a series is very well. Okay. So let me give you a very simple example. Let's take a variable d and I'll do a simple Python code once again. I'll write, you'll understand what this structure is. It's very similar to what you have seen before as well. Okay, something that you have already seen in your Python courses. Same thing I'm doing here as well. So okay, so basically what I've done is I have given a simple structure here. Can you tell me what the structure is in Python?
Dictionary.
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 Dictionary, right? Where I have a key and a value. So I have my first key, which is name, and a value is hello. I have the second key, which is age, and the value is 20, right? So let's run it. Oh, sorry, I have to make it in a string. So just a second. Keys are always strings in dictionaries. Yeah. So this is a simple dictionary which I have, and if I just print this D, you will see that I have a key which is name, and the value given to it is hello. And similarly, I have a second key which is age, and the value I've given to this key is 20. Simple key value pairs, right? Now let's try to modify this dictionary a bit. So I'll again take the same structure, that is name and age, but instead of doing one value now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some change, which is instead of just writing this hello, I'll take a list here, and I'll have two names here instead of one name. Okay, and in the age also, I'll simply have another list where I'll take again two ages instead of one age, and I'll run this. Now again, I print this. So basically, again, I have the same thing, right? I have a dictionary where I have a key, which is the name, and the two values. Instead of one person, I have two people now, which is Sham and which is Ram, right? In the age also, I know the age of Sham is 20 and the age of Ram is 22. Simple dictionary once again. Now, similarly, when you see data like this, all the data, now suppose I go back to this data set, which I was showing you a little earlier. Do you think this is also kind of a dictionary itself? If you see this, does it look like a dictionary to you? Is it similar to what we see here? Any differences on this and this?
Yes, similar.
Similar, right? Because again, see, I have a key, which is product name, and I have a values, which is a list of these products. Similarly, I have another key category, and the values are these list of products, price, list of products, quantity, and list of products, where I can see the list. Same thing, right? So it's basically a very big dictionary. The sheet itself is a very big dictionary, which has 100 entries, and each entry has four values, which is this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? Now, suppose I have to tell you, I'll give you this dictionary and I want to tell you to calculate the average price. That means you go over all the prices and you write some Python code and you calculate the average. So take the sum of the prices and divide it by the number of items. That is how you will get the average of the prices. So if I want to just implement this code with a dictionary, do you think it is going to be very easy or it's going to be complicated to do that? Do we have to write some for loop, while loop, and all those things? What do you think?
Complicated.
Not very complicated, but the problem is that we have to write a lot of code for doing that, right? We have to write for every key in this value, then you add
Yes.
the key, then you divide. So all it's a big code. It's a 2-3 line code at least, or 3-4 line code at least, which we have to write, right? Similarly, we might have to do something more complicated. Now, what I want to do is maybe I want to multiply the price and quantity, and I want to get a revenue. Whenever you see economics, revenue is price into quantity. How much you basically sold? What is the value to the shopkeeper? That is price into quantity. So again, when I have to multiply all the prices with all the quantity, again, that will become very difficult with the dictionary. It's going to be very cumbersome, right? So these things are slightly difficult when we are going to do with a dictionary. So we have to make sure that we make these things easier. So to make these things easier, Pandas comes to the rescue. So what Pandas is going to do actually is, Pandas will do the same thing. It will take a dictionary and it will convert it into another data type, which is called data frame. Okay. So basically here I have written data frame for you. Data frame is just another data type of Pandas, which is basically internally a dictionary, right? But what advantage does Pandas give us? The advantage that Pandas gives us is that with this dictionary, initial dictionary, data frame gives us a lot of inbuilt functions, which makes things very easy. Right? For example, in dictionary, to get the average, I have to write a big for loop, while loop, and get the code done, right? In Pandas, I just have to write the most this d of price, and I'll just call a function called mean, right? And that will do my work. So when I work with Pandas, so I'll just write a function and my work will be done. So obviously, when you are a data scientist and you want to work with some long data, some big data, which is very complicated, you'll want to work easily with that, right? You don't want to do much of difficulties, like write big for loops and while loops and make your life difficult. You want to make it very easy, right? So that's where Pandas helps us a lot. So now let's enter into Pandas. This was simple dictionary so far. So let's try to enter into Pandas now. So what we are now going to do is we are going to convert this dictionary. So if you see again, the type of this D, it's a dictionary, right? It's a dictionary. What I'll do now is I'll convert this dictionary into a data frame. Doing that is very simple. I'll call it df instead of d. Let me call it df, and df is now going to be pandas dot. We'll use a simple function that is called data frame. Okay. So what data frame will do is it will take a dictionary in the input and it will convert the dictionary into a pandas data frame. Okay, and I'll just pass this dictionary d into an input here. And basically now if I see this df, type of this df, this is a data frame. So you can see now this is a pandas data frame. And you can see there's a lot of information. All this information basically tells us all the methods. There are a lot of functions and methods that I have inbuilt inside this, which I can actually use on this data frame, which will make the things very easy for us to use and compute different values, different formulas, functions with it very simply. Okay. So is it clear so far? Any questions on this?
Sir, I joined just now,
Clear.
so
Clear, right?
do we
Okay.
do we need?
So
Excuse me, sir.
let's go back then. This was the one way. Okay, there are many ways of creating data frame. The first way is you basically take a dictionary in Python and just write the simple command pandas.dataframe, and you put the dictionary inside it, and the dictionary gets converted into a data frame. That's all, right? Now let's basically try to, before we understand what methods and all you can use, that we'll understand in a moment, let's try to come into the most useful method in pandas. Okay, so now if you imagine yourself as a real data scientist, you will never create dictionaries yourself, right? The data set will be given to you somewhere. You will get an Excel file or a CSV file or some file which will contain all the data, right? You won't actually have to sit in Python and code the data itself. That a data entry person will be doing. You will not be doing that, right? What you will be doing is you will get the data from someone and you will analyze it. That's your job, right? So basically, let's assume we are data scientists now for some company and we have this data set with us, which is this products data set, which we have, right? What we have to do is this is a CSV file. Again, this for reference, you can see it's a CSV file. What we'll now do is we'll take this CSV file and with the help of pandas, we'll convert this CSV file into a data frame so that we can work with it. Okay. So let's see how that is done. Very simple again. So what you're going to do now is, let's call this as again another, you can call it df itself. So what we'll do now is we'll do a simple pandas command. And what we'll do is, again, this command is very self-explanatory. We'll use this command called read CSV. Again, I think you can understand this is very self-explanatory itself because reading the CSV, right? We are taking a CSV file, we are reading it, and we are converting it into a data frame. And what you do now is after you put this command, you have to give the path of this file. So the path of the file is very simple. The file is there inside your Colab. You can just upload the file in Colab like this. Okay, and you can just write the name of the file. That's more than enough. So just write products dataset, and the spelling has to be the same. Okay, if you make a spelling mismatch, it will not give it. Like suppose I just write this, it will give you an error. You have to write the exact spelling. Okay, .csv. Okay, now it's done. So basically what I do is I'll just take the CSV file in my Colab and I'll just use this command pd.readcsv. On doing this command, pandas will go and find this file which I have given here. It will convert it into a data frame and store it in the variable df. That's all what we are doing here. So let's again
So
see,
we-
yes, df. Yeah.
So we can also copy the path of the data set and
Yeah.
put it
You
into
can copy it from your computer also. That is also okay. Okay,
yes.
full path. That is basically C drive, D drive. If your dataset is in your drive, you can even copy that. I'll show that, and towards the end of the session, I'll just copy the dataset to the desktop and show you with that as well. Okay.
Okay. Sir.
Yeah, but this is the easiest one because here you just have to write the name, right? So it becomes slightly easy to work with this. But if your data is very big and
Yes.
you are finding it difficult to upload in Colab, then you can do it from computer as well. That is also okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. So let's verify this. Let's see what is the type of DF, and you can now see it's also a data frame, right? So our thing is done. We have completed the work, and that makes our life very easy now. We have the entire data in form of a DF. Advantage I'll tell you here is if you see, I think in stats 1 and 2, you must have worked with Excel, right, for analyzing such data. Now Excel is very simple. You can just use inbuilt formulas and functions and graphs, and you can work with Excel. There is nothing from your side that is required, right? But why do you use pandas? Why do you need to write code then? The problem is Excel has a limit. It cannot analyze infinite data. At some point, if the data is very big, Excel will fail. The advantage with pandas is that it will be able to analyze as big a data as you give it, even in terabytes, kilobytes of data. Obviously, you need a bigger computer and a GPU for that, but still it will be able to do that. Okay, so whatever data sets you work with, you can analyze with pandas very simply. And you will get all the responses very quickly. Like you don't even have to wait, even if the data set is big. In a second, you will get all the responses done. That's why pandas is very useful. We'll see that. And when you actually build your MLP project, you will work with much bigger data sets than this. So you'll see how pandas is very useful for doing the cleaning, processing, analyzing of the data. It's very useful for that. Okay. So that was the main thing. So I think we have seen the DF. Now what the DF is. Now let's try to work with it. The first thing was we have to basically convert the dataset into a data frame so that we can make pandas work with it. Now we'll see all the awesome and magical methods that pandas has, which will make our life very good and make the data analyzing very easy for us. Okay, so let's start with the attributes of the dataset. So this is something you should even keep in mind for any data science work you're doing. whenever you start with a data science project, don't straight away go into applying ML, applying models and all that. The first thing that you need to do is you need to understand what the data is, right? How many columns are there? How many rows are there? Are the rows integers? Are the rows strings? If the rows are strings, what are the things? Is it names? Is it phone numbers? What is it, right? So understanding the data is very, very important. And for that, Pandas gives us some very good functions and attributes, which makes things very good. Okay. So let's start with the first one, the easiest one and the one which you'll use the most. That is called as tf.shape. So this is not a function. So if it's a function, I'll do this, right? So this is not a function. This is just a simple attribute. So I'll simply run this df.shape and see what happens. Can anyone tell me what this means? Like what this 100 cross 4 means here? What is this tuple?
3 cross n.
Yeah. So basically first one is the rows and the second one is the columns, right? So I have 100 rows and 4 columns. Again, you can see that in the dataset itself. You have 4 columns, which is here, this 4, and you have 100 rows, which is basically shown here, the 100 rows, right? So df.shape, what this is going to do is, this is going to basically give you a tuple like this. The first thing will be the rows, and the second thing will be the columns. Okay, that's what you're going to get. Can anyone tell me if I just want, yeah.
Sir, the session is recorded. Is it live on the YouTube also?
It is recorded. It is recorded, yes.
Sir, is it live on the YouTube also?
And there was some configuration issue with the YouTube, so I'll upload it on the YouTube once this is done, but I'm recording it. So you can see here, right? It's recording.
Okay.
Yeah,
this
means it's recording.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just upload it. Once the session is done, I'll upload it on YouTube as well.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay, so can you tell me if I just want to see the rows of this dataset, not the columns, can I do that as well? Just with this method? Any way I can do that?
Yes.
Sir, indexing.
Yeah, index. It's a tuple, right? This is a simple tuple. So I
Yeah,
can just index it and my work will be done, right? So basically, suppose I say rows is equal to df.shape and I index the 0th element of this, right? And yeah, of course, I have to print this also. So this is the rows. This is 100, right? Simple. Okay. So this was the first one. So we're using the rows and columns. Very simple thing. We just have to use this function called shape and that will get the work done. Yeah. Someone raised the hand, I think. You can unmute. Anyone who wants a question, you can unmute straight away. You don't need to raise the hand. You can unmute and ask. Okay, because actually I am working on the collab, so I'm not able to see who has raised the hand on the meet. So you can unmute and speak anytime you have a doubt. Okay. Okay, let's see the
So
next.
how to print number of columns?
You can tell me that. Can you make a guess how to do that?
Instead of 0, we can put 1, I think.
Yeah, exactly, right? So basically see this. This is df.shape, which is 100, 4. It's a tuple, right? Simple Python tuple. What is rows? The first element of the tuple, which is basically index 0, right? So what will be columns? The second element. So index 1. So if I write df.shape, okay, and I'll index the second element, which is 1 here, because we have 0 based indexing in Python, and we see this, so we get the columns, right?
Sir, have you shared this collab file somewhere?
I'll share it after the session with you. I'll give you the link of the file as well as I'll upload it in the supplementary content of the portal. Okay, you will find it there. So every week, whenever I take the sessions, I will upload the collabs on the file, on the supplementary content. Okay, so you can work with them. You'll have edit access on the collab, so you can edit them. You can play around with the data, and that will make things very easy. I'll upload this also. Okay, so you can work with this data as well.
So is it mandatory to use df as a
No. It's your wish. It's your wish.
Okay.
You can even see. Since I have been working with Pandas, I use df because that is very easy. Just 2 letters to write a data frame, right? You can write dataset. You can write product dataset. Anything you want to.
Okay.
Okay, it's your wish completely. It's a variable name, right? You have no
Yes.
on variable name. Yeah. Okay, so that was it. So let's now go into the next part. So the shape part is clear, right? Any question on this?
No.
Okay. So let's go to the next one. So the next one is simple. Now, basically what we have done is we have understood that the data has 100 rows and 4 columns. You want to see it. We want to see what the rows are. We want to see what the column. What is the data? So one way is obviously you click the file here and see it, but that is not. We want to do everything in Pandas, right? We don't want to do any clicking or doing something in collab. We want to see everything with Pandas. So how do we do that? There are many commands for that. I'll give you the most popular ones. You don't need to memorize all of them. The first one is something which you'll always use, df.head. Okay, let's see what it does, then I'll explain you. So what it has done is it has basically shown me the data and the first 5 rows of the data, right? So that means what is head? So if you see a human, the head is the beginning of the body, right? So in the same way, the head command in Pandas is the beginning of the data set. You see the top 5 rows in the data set when you give the head command. Now, suppose I give you a question. I want to see the top 7 rows. How to do that? That also you can do with head. Just write here 7. Okay. So when you write 7 here, you will see the top 7 rows. So basically what you can understand is head will by default give me 5 rows. But if I want to see more rows, I can just enter the number here and I'll see all those rows. Suppose I want to see the entire data. Here I have 100 rows, right? Suppose I just enter 100. So I'll see everything, right? Of course, due to collapse viewing restrictions, it will make some problems here. It will not make you see everything, but that also there are ways for doing that. But basically, the idea is that the head method will show me the first n rows. So basically, if I just write df dot head and I enter some n here, some number, that means I will see the first n rows of that data set, right? Suppose I write this, that means I will see the first n rows of that data set. Okay, now n can be anything which you give. By default, it's 5. So the default is 5, but you can even see more than that by just writing the number here, whatever you want to. Okay, suppose I just want to see the first row. I'll just do df.head 1, so I just see the first row in that case. Right? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now suppose I want to do the same thing from the bottom. I have seen the head, now I want to do the from the below. I have seen the top 5, I want to see the last 5. So simple, just the counter of this df.tail. Right? Head is the top, tail is the bottom. Right? So if I do df.tail, you see the last 5. So 95, 96, 97, 98, and 99. The last 5 rows of the data we have seen here. Right? Again, I can customize it. Suppose I write 100. I'll see the last 100 rows. Now this data has just 100 rows, right? So I'll see everything once again. Suppose I write 1. What will this do? Anyone can tell me what this will do?
It will, so
Last row,
Nine.
right? Because last n rows and n is equal to 1, that means only the last row.
yes.
Right? It's the last row. So I'll just write the comment here as well so that when you read it again, you can refer to it. So this will show the last n rows. And here we have tail. Okay, so this was another one. Another one that you can do, this one is not very useful, but again, just for the completeness, we'll see that one also. So df.sample. So this is like a variation of the first two. So what this will do is this will give you a random sample, right? So I think in statistics you have done sampling. Sampling means what? You have the entire data, you take something out of it, right? That is called sampling. So what df.sample will do is it will give you a random sample of the data set. So any random number. So if I run it again, like suppose I run it once again, I get something else, 93 now. I run it again, I get 2. I run it again. So every time I do it, there is a simple sampling algorithm that works behind this, and you get a random sample of the data set in the result. Okay. So this one is just random sample. Okay. So this is the simple idea. Whenever I do df.sample, I will see the random sample of the data set. Any random sample. Again, let me just show you one more time as well. This time I got 66. Okay. This one is not very useful because you generally don't want to see a random thing. You want to see some rows, right? So some 5, 10 rows in the beginning, some 5, 10 rows in the bottom, something in the middle. So these methods are something which are more useful. Head and tail. Okay. So clear so far? Any questions?
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So just give me 1 minute. Okay. I'll just be back. Yeah. Okay. So let's continue now. So I think this was the first one, which was the viewing of the data. I think that is very clear to us. So let's now go into the other methods. Okay. So when I told you we want to see the data, we have now seen what the data is, which is some rows and some columns we have seen. We have seen how many rows are there and how many columns are there. So we have now a good idea of the size of the data set as well. So now what do we have to understand? We have to understand the next thing, which is data types. We want to see which column is a number, which column is a string, which column is a float. Because obviously when you see a number, the processing of the number is very different, right? When you analyze a number, you can do mean, median, mode. On a word, you cannot do mean, median, mode, right? On a string. So on name, you cannot do mean of the names. You can only do mean of the price, right? So you have to see which columns are names, which columns are numbers, and so on. So how to do that? Again, doing that very simple. So pandas, the idea is the commands which you use in pandas are very simple. You don't even need to memorize them. You learn it on the way. The idea, right? So the simple attribute that you can use here is df.dtypes. Right? Dtypes means data types, right? So you can just do df.dtypes. You will get a table here, and that table will show you the data type of all the variables. So you can see price is float, right? Quantity is float. And one more thing to remember, whenever you have strings in pandas did not say anything, call it string. So they call it object, right? So all the strings by default are called as objects. Okay, so this I'll just mention here. Strings, this you should remember also. Strings are by default objects. Okay, so that means product name is a string, category is a string, price and quantity are floats. That's the idea. Clear? Any questions?
Other than strings, are there any objects?
Other than, can you repeat again? I did not understand.
Other than strings, are there any objects in pandas?
No, only strings. Strings are called as objects. Okay, rest you will get the retype. So for integer, if the value was integer, you will get int. Okay, for float, you will get float. And suppose it's boolean, true, false, you will get bool. Okay, so only for string you get object.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, what is difference between float and float 64?
See, that is actually, it is float only. For writer, you can consider it as a float. The difference is that when you store a number, right? So when you store something in a computer, it's stored in bits and bytes, right? So 64 means that number is stored in 64 bits, 8 bytes. Okay. Then there is float 32. That means the number is stored in 32 bits. So it's on storage. It will not see viewing it will not make any difference. You will see this number only as your data. Internally in the computer and how many bits and bytes I'm storing it, that basically is 64 and 32 and so on.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you see the data, it's same. From the above, it's the very same. It's basically internally when you're storing the data, that you will see the difference. Actually, when you'll work in degree level in deep learning, that time this will be very important because in deep learning, we have to make sure that this number is very small. In machine learning, we don't have to because data sets are pretty small. So this works. Anything works. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so I think this is clear. What is the head, tail, d types? We have seen that. So let's see one more command. This command is again not very useful because these commands above this are something which we use more. But this one also I'll just show you for completeness again. This is called as info. So from the name, info means information, right? So you will get some information here. So let's see what information we get. So this command, what it does is it actually gives you a lot of information of the data set, like together. So it gives you the first thing that I have 100 entries and 4 columns. So the shape I got, right? Then for every category, I get the data type, which is object or float, everything. I also get one more thing, the memory, like what is the size of the file. So if you see this file is 3 KB, right? In my computer, this file is taking 3 KB of storage. So that also I get here. That's pretty good. So we get some information and we get something called as non-null count. This we will see in a while, what this means. Okay, so basically sometimes when you want to just run one command and get everything instead of running multiple commands, just run info and you get all the information in one go, right? Pretty useful. So basically compact information. Okay, so I think that is fine. So yeah, so mostly in data viewing, this was the main thing. The first one was the shape to see the size of the data set. Then we had head and tail and sample to view the data set. Then we have d types to see the data type of the variables, and then we have info, which basically gives us condensed information of everything. Yeah.
So what if we put the file path in the df.info, then what will happen?
You can't put that.
Oh.
See, suppose let's see. Maybe sometimes the libraries get updated, so maybe something can work. But I think you can't put that.
Today is the first session, no, sir?
Yes. The first. So the sessions for MLP will be on Monday and Thursday, same time, 8 p.m. Okay. And I think apart from that, on other days we have TA sessions also that you can attend. Definitely, that will help you a lot. But the instructor sessions will be on Monday and Thursday.
Recordings will be there here.
Yeah. So it will be streamed on YouTube. Today I think there is some glitch, so it could not be streamed, but I have recorded it. So I'll upload the video on YouTube after the session. Okay.
Okay. And where will be accessible, in the calendar or elsewhere?
In the calendar. So in the calendar. Okay. So here you will just see this. It'll be like.
Okay, got it.
Got it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Timing
is same. Monday and Thursday, 8 p.m. every week.
Yeah. Okay, that is fine. Because I missed it because I was in the TDS session, so it was continued.
Okay, no issues. So the same time, we'll follow the same schedule, 8 p.m.
Can I continue after leaving this one?
Yeah. Sure. You will get the recording. No worries.
Just you will brief what we have covered here. Some installation I have done, or just theory part will be there.
No, we'll be doing coding. We are doing coding. Basically, I have taken one data set and I'm basically showing how pandas will work with the data set, right? So we are basically seeing the rows and columns and how to read the values that we have seen. Simple pandas introduction.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming back to this, so putting the file path, this will not work. Okay, this worked. So they have updated the file, so it can work. So suppose I make some error. I think now this should not work ideally. Okay, so basically what has happened here is, let me tell you what has happened. This, whatever you enter here, this doesn't matter only. Because see, if I change this, this is also giving me everything, the same thing. So the idea is this doesn't matter because the information is coming on this df, right? The df variable already is storing your dataset, which is there. The initial dataset is there in df variable. So it is just working on the variable. It is not taking anything from here. So if you enter something here also, if you don't enter something here, it will not work. The idea is because it is taking it from this variable df, right? So whatever is there in the df, that matters. Whatever file path you give here, it does not matter. That's why we don't give anything, because it reads from the df variable. It does not read from any file. Because the file reading is also, file reading has happened here. This is what is most important. We have already read the file here, stored it in df. So after this, we don't need to read the file again and again. One reading is sufficient. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So that is done. So any questions so far? We have finished the first section. So any questions so far?
Could you give some brief, sir, what you have covered, because I missed half an hour.
See,
Just
I have
briefing.
basically covered the first thing is loading the dataset. That is how you read a file. So I had this CSV file here. Okay. And this
Now,
CSV file.
we have installed Pandas also.
Yeah, we don't need to install in Collab. It's already installed. I just need to import it.
Okay,
So I just
okay.
import it.
We are using Collab directly. Okay.
Collab, yeah. Collab directly. And I just uploaded a CSV file here with 100 rows. Then what we did was we just used the command of pandas, which is pd.read CSV, which basically helps us to extract data from CSV file. We gave the name of it, right? And then when we give the name of it, inside this variable df, we have the CSV file now shown. Okay. Now, how to view this? We can use these commands called head and tail. So head will basically help us view the first few rows of the CSV file. Tail will help us view the last.
Have you shared this MLP, this Collab also?
I will share it in the supplementary content after this session.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can watch the recording also in detail. That will cover all the steps. It will be clear.
Okay, sir.
Okay. But you can follow on right now because we'll continue something new only. So you can follow on. It will be easy to follow. Just the main thing is inside this variable df, now I have the CSV file stored. That's the idea. Okay. So if I just show you the df variable, the CSV file you will see here. Okay. So this data has been stored. Why have I stored it? Because I need to work with pandas to analyze this, right? So that's why I've stored it in the variable df. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So any other questions?
Sir, is this whatever things are covered in week 1 content?
Yeah.
Like all the things related to pandas, is the syllabus updated for MLP? Like in previous, I saw the notes or supplementary contents of the previous term. I think there is some confusion between like week 1, week 2, and content. And in the exam, do they ask questions from this all these things? Like do we need
I'll
to
tell
remember
you,
all these methods?
So MLP course has been like updated every time because see MLP is a practical course, right? And as soon as the industry changes some trends, the MLP course gets updated with new technologies. Okay, so the syllabus can keep changing. What you will do is just follow what is there in this term. Okay, that's what you do.
Okay.
So in this
So
term, pandas
do
is
I
week
need
1.
to remember all these methods? Like it's so like having a like overall idea is fine, or do we need to remember all this whatever methods mentioned in the course? Do we need to remember it for
You
exam?
don't need to memorize everything, but the common methods which are there, those you should know.
Okay, just overall idea how to use
Yeah.
them is fine, right?
Like suppose if I tell you right now that you present your screen and read a CSV file for me, that you should be able to do. Okay, that is the thing.
Okay, fine.
Okay, then if I tell you do some, I'll teach the statistics part, do some statistics that you should be. So whatever I'll be covering in the session, at least that much you should be able to do yourself without any help, right? After that, if you need help, you have the pandas documentation. That is very good. See, pandas is one of the best documentations of any library. So I'll just show for a minute. So just search pandas docs and you can go to this user guides. I think this is the section. Yeah. So everything has been mentioned here inside this documentation in detail. Okay. Just like suppose I did this viewing data. This is what I taught right now. So go here and you will see all commands like head, tail, everything they have shown with all variations. So go through this. Okay. Every day, whenever you're using some command, go here and just see what they are doing. That will make it very easy for you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So any other questions?
Sir, Collab is also having some data limits. How
No,
much?
it does not. It has some memory limits, but in our case, whatever datasets we'll be using, you can easily import that in Collab. Because see, actually what happens is in this course, the datasets will not be very big. When you go to deep learning and degree level, then we have even bigger ones. Those also work with Collab. Okay, so this will definitely work. Shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. Okay, any other question? Anyone? Okay, so we can, yeah, great. So we can continue then. So now what we were doing is we were working with the data and we were viewing it with head and tail, where head gave us the first few rows, tail gave us the last few rows, and so on. Okay, so now suppose I give you a question here. So let me write a question here itself. The question is, I want to see the 57th row of the data, the 57th row only, no other rows. Can you tell me how to do that? Any way to do that?
iloc.
Yeah, iloc is the what that we'll cover right now. But any way to do that with head and tail? Can we do it with head and tail? Is it possible? Suppose
Yeah,
I write.
Yes.
Yeah, how to do it?
First, we will take 57th head, and then we will remove. We will take the tail.
Exactly, right? So first we take head 57. Okay. So what will happen here is I take df dot head. Let me like change the cell only so that you will have everything in the notes also. So maybe here I'll do it. Yeah, let me do it here itself. So df dot head 57. So this gave me the first 57 rows, right? I have my row which I need, but I have all the other rows also. Now suppose we take the tail of this. So this didn't work. This gave me last 5. So obviously I have to enter tail 1, right? For the last row. So I'll just enter tail 1 now. Now I get the 57th row. Right? Is it clear how this happened?
Yes, sir.
If you write
Yes,
tell 5, if you tell 5, then it will give last 5.
Last 5. Default is
Okay.
5. So by default, if you do this, you'll get 5. So I took head of 57. Then in that, it gave me 5 by default. But if I want some specific number, then I'll take enter the number. Right? So I entered 1 here. I got the last one.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is also important. This was actually an OPP question in a term, few terms back. We had asked this, and many. It was a one tricky question. So you should know that we can do it with head tail.
Can we reverse this also? We take tail.
Yeah. Why not? We will do that.
Tail 57.
Yes, tail 57. So this will give me the last 57. But the problem is, see, we can't do head 1, right? Because this is the last 57. We have to find the number then. So let's see what number it is. So we have to find it, what number it is, and then do the tail of that. That will give me the job.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this was the first method, head and tail. But again, I have to first do head. And now see, the question that was asked, that with tail can we do? We have to find which number is that, and we have to search it, then do the tail. So that's again a very cumbersome process. So why not make it very easy? So to make it very easy, we actually have two methods, loc and iloc. Loc is slightly different, but iloc is a very straightforward method. It's just like working with indexing of lists and dictionaries. What you simply do is you do df.iloc. Someone spoke something I could not hear. Can you repeat again? Oh, sorry. I have to do a row column. Yeah, so basically what we'll do is we will enter 56 here.
Square bracket, I think.
Yeah, row column.
Yeah, square bracket.
In loc it is different and iloc it is different. It's slightly confusing. So yeah. So what we'll do is we want to see the entire 57th row. So we'll write 57 here. I think 56 we have to write because it's 0 based, right? And for column we'll not write anything, right? We'll just write this. See all the columns. Okay. This is also
Sir, only square bracket, not parentheses.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, now it's worked. So basically what we can see now, the format changes, but we can see now.
Why iloc stands for iloc?
iloc means index based search. Okay, I stands for index and loc is a acronym of searching. So index based search. We have basically indexed the row here, right? Which is the 56th row, and this is the column. See, this is the format of iloc. So iloc has this format. So here basically you first write the row number, okay, and then you write the column number. Right?
Okay.
So first I write which row I want to see and which column. So basically I want to see every column, right? Right now I don't want to filter any column. I just want to see the entire 56th row. So I mentioned the row number, which is 56, which I get. And for column, I give this symbol. I think this is a symbol you have seen in lists and dictionary also. Whenever you want to index everything, you give this symbol of this colon, right? Colon means everything.
It will start from 0 to end, right?
Yes. So this symbol.
Suppose we put from 2 to 4, then it will 2, 3, and.
Yeah. So suppose I just mention 2
here. The same way. Yeah,
I mentioned 2 here. So I get this value 2, which is basically the third value in that row, right? So if you see, they're giving you nan. So this
Got
value
it.
was nan here, right?
Third column. 56 row and third column.
Third column. So I think this was nan here, the third column. Yeah, this was nan, right? So this is what we got. Now suppose I mentioned this here, 3, the fourth column, I'll get this value 60. Now that we see, we get 60, right? So basically simple indexing, just like we do in dictionary, row, column. So just like we do in matrices, rows and columns, right? That's how we'll index the pandas as well. So first we enter the row number, which is 56 to get the 57th row. And then we enter the column number, which is 3, which gives us the fourth column, which is this value 60, right? And if we don't enter anything, if we just do this, then we get everything, the entire row.
All column.
Yes. Now suppose, okay, let's take a I think someone has raised the hand. So yeah, Poonam Gupta. Yes.
Yeah. Sir, is it row number? 56 is row number or index number?
Row number. It is row number. Row number. See,
But
row and index are same, right? Index, every row has an index.
Row.
Yeah. It is row number and index number also, because index number, every row has the same, it's a one index number, right? So row 0 will have index 0, row 1 will have index 1. So you can call it index number also. Same thing.
Okay.
See, the idea is every row gets a default index. So your 0th row will get index 0, first row will get index 1, second row will get index 2. So the row number and index number are same thing, right? So you can use the same thing in this case also.
Okay, always we have to minus 1 row.
Yeah, minus 1 because 0 based.
1.
It is 0 based. Yeah. Just like Python, we have 0 based and list and dictionary. The same thing we'll have for pandas also. Everything will be 0 based. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yeah. Okay, let's take a variation of this. df.iloc. And let's now do this. Let's see what this will do. Can anyone tell me what this will do?
It will show the fourth column for
third
every
column
entry.
of
This will show all the rows and third column.
Yeah, so only
Fourth column.
not all the rows. It will show all the rows, but only the third column, not all the columns, right? Only the third column, all the rows. Yeah.
Sir, is it third column or fourth?
Fourth column. Yeah, 0 based. Fourth column. Yes, fourth column. So fourth column was quantity, right? Fourth column was quantity.
Vector.
So I
It
got
will be
quantity for all.
column vector.
Yes, column vector. Now suppose I entered 1 here, so I'll get the category, right? Which was the second column. So all the categories I've got. So
This is the line number. 01 to the line number, or this will also the data?
This is no line number. Pandas give this by default. Line number. Index, basically the index number or the row number.
Index.
This is by default. Pandas will always give this by default. Yeah. So I think now it is clear. The first thing is just remember this. If you remember this much, this is sufficient. This is how I remembered it initially. You have a row number first and the column number. So when you want to index a particular row and column, just mention the row number and the column number. Now the next thing is when you want to enter everything of something, like suppose all the rows, then I'll do this here, the colon on the rows. If I want to see all the columns, I'll do column on the columns, right? So whenever I enter this colon means everything. That's the simple idea. So just remember these two things and you'll be very comfortable with iloc. Now let me do one more variation and I think that is the good one. So with that, you'll understand how this is actually working. So df.iloc, and now I'm doing this. Okay, can you tell me what this will give me now?
All the rows and all the columns.
Yes, because I did this colon on the rows also, I did the colon on column also, so I got everything. The entire data set I'll get, right? So now I got everything. Okay, that's the idea. So the main thing is again these 2 points, row number, column number, and you do this for everything, the colon. Okay, so that's the idea. So any other question on this? Clear so far?
We can give one number also, no? That
one number
specifies row, I think. Oh.
Will it work with one number? Let me see. I think it does not work. Not sure. Let me check it out.
Can we get the columns in a steps?
Column number is optional.
Suppose first,
third,
fifth. Is it
column number.
possible?
You can see if you enter this 56, I think you will get the row, right? Yeah, you do. You get the row. So column number is optional. Basically means you by default you see all the columns, right? By default. Now suppose you want to see a particular column, then you enter this column number also, which is suppose 0. So now you just see this column. Right now 1 you see this column. So row number has to be given because obviously you need to tell now which row you want to see, but for column number it is optional. You can not enter it also. If you don't enter it, that means every column will be seen by default, but if you enter it, you will be seeing a specific column. So basically this is the default. This is the default, and you can also just do this just for completeness. This is also the same thing, right? This also give you the default thing. And
can you select in steps also, first, third, fifth, like that?
Yeah, we can do that, but for that I'll show you an easier way for doing it. We can do that with iloc as well, but there is an easier command called select, right? That makes things even easier. So we'll do that for selecting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this was about some basic iloc. There is another way of indexing that I'll show you now. But is this clear so far? Any question on this?
And how to see the syntax of this of the command? So iloc is. Suppose I want to see the syntax of this iloc. Then
You
where
can do
to
a
get the
simple
help?
thing. Just right here, pandas
Okay,
iloc,
okay, directly. Okay,
right?
okay, directly.
And skip this AI part. You go here, yeah. Go to this documentation, and here you will see the entire iloc, right? Everything. So
Okay,
here
okay.
basically created a data frame, and now they are
But
basically
documentation. Every problem will be
Sir,
solved.
is say watching pandas documentation allowed in OPP?
In OPP, I think it is not allowed as far as I remember.
Okay.
I'm not sure because I was not the instructor last time for this, so I'll have to verify with the other instructor. Okay, I'll ask sir about it, and I'll get back to you on this. Okay.
There is no quiz 1, quiz 2, na, in this
No.
session
See,
also?
basically the grading is like this. You have 3 Kaggle assignments. Okay, that will
Yeah.
contribute to a very big amount of the score. GAs and
Yeah.
PS are there as usual. Then you have, instead of quizzes, you have Kaggle assignments. And Kaggle assignments are important because your project is on Kaggle, so they will prepare you for the project as well. Okay.
Okay.
Then you have end term straight away. And OPP.
Okay.
OPP1 and OPP2 are there. And then the end term. Okay.
OPP will be based on this such.
OPP will be based on the weeks. Yeah, I think the first one will be based on the first 4 to 5 weeks, and the second one will be based on all the weeks, which will be covered till then.
And the content will be covered here, whatever in the live session we are doing, no?
No, you have to watch all the lectures because in live session we'll not be able to do everything. Because you can see in week 1 there are many lectures in every week. So in live session we'll not be able to cover everything. But yeah, obviously live session I'll cover the important parts. But please do go through the lectures as well. Don't skip them.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Yeah?
fine.
Yeah. Because see, lecture sir is showing every command, lot of variations of that. In live session, we cannot see all of them because that will take too much time and we'll not be able to cover everything. Right? So
Correct.
I'm giving an overview in the live session and we'll clear the doubts also. And if you have any doubt in the lecture, we'll do that in the live session as well.
Okay.
I'll try to cover as much as possible in the live session, but sometimes everything will not be covered, right? Something will be left for sure. So that you have to go through the lecture and go do the GAs and PS as well. That will give you a very good idea for the OPP, for the Kaggle, and for the project as well. If you do the GAs and PS, they are all practical. You have to work with Dataset. So go through them. You'll be able to understand how it works. Okay.
Sir, can you mention like the timeline when we will be having Kaggle and when we will be giving OPPs?
I think it is mentioned in the grading doc, right? When it is to be done.
Yes.
Yeah. So just check the grading doc because I don't have the grading doc right now on me, but I'll you can check it. Everything in detail has been given. I think even in the course page, the grading doc has been added to the course page. Can anyone confirm that if it's added in the course page?
Yes, sir.
It is, right? Yeah. So just check the course
Yes,
page. You will find the entire schedule there. And we have also mentioned the weeks and everything. Yeah.
It is there.
Okay. Great. Right. So any other question on this? Like any general question on the course, if you have, you can ask today because it's the first live session that will help you to approach the course as well. So any questions in general?
Yeah. Sir, I have registered for MLP project along with MLP, normal MLP practice.
Okay.
Now, somewhere I read today, somewhere I read that it is advisable to do MLP project after MLP.
It is. Yes.
Yeah. What should I do now? Because I have because they in course page there is this is MLP for MLP is the prerequisite score requisite for MLP project. Then I have registered. So what should I do now?
See, the idea is that, one idea is you can do the project again in next term. That is one option. But if you want to do it in this term, then the thing is you have to cover the course faster. You can see the course playlist on YouTube, right? And watch as many lectures as you can faster. But that will become very difficult for you to grab because MLP is a very heavy course. There is too much of coding in it. So you will find it very difficult to grasp so much together because the project is complete coding. You have to first analyze data with pandas, plot graphs, then do ML. You have to apply ML algorithm. You have to do data cleaning, then evaluation of multiple algorithms. Not only one, you have to do multiple algorithms as well. So that will become slightly easier without doing the course.
Yeah,
have you worked in this field before, like ML and all? Have you worked?
No.
Then it will be difficult. You need to grasp the course first before the project.
Okay, is it possible? So I can postpone the MLP project to the next term?
I think it is possible. Yeah, it should be possible. Do one thing, just write a discourse post on this and just tag me on it. Okay, on discourse.
I think you can drop.
Thank you, sir.
I
Yes,
think
drop
it is
project.
valid for 2 terms.
Yeah,
Once
Yeah,
you
yeah,
fade
yeah.
the
It
you can
was
drop
2 terms, I
also
think.
and
2 terms
start.
buffer was given earlier. Yeah, you can. But don't don't take any assumption on it. Just give me a discourse post. I will guide it to the support team, and you will get a reply from them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it
Thank
today
you.
itself. So I'll just forward it to the team today itself, so that you get a response by tomorrow or day after. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Any other questions? And one more advice from my side before that, MLT, the concepts that you have learned in MLT, they will be handy in this course. So if you are not very clear with something, just revise it meanwhile, because the algorithms, we will not be like recovering all the algorithms, right? We'll be doing the coding part mostly in this course. So the how the algorithm works, that has been covered in MLT, so that should be very clear. So if you have doubts in that, you can even ask that as well in the live session, and we'll help you out with that as well. Yeah, any other questions? Someone was, I think, unmuting, so you can ask.
How will the end term paper will be, sir? Because we are doing only coding all throughout the
The
course.
end paper will be like Python. You will have code snippets and you have to analyze them like Python.
Okay.
Okay, but what you can do for that is you can see the previous year questions. Okay, to refer to that. That will give you
Okay.
an idea of how it will be. And there will also be some theory questions. Like we can ask you some basic theory questions on the algorithms as well, because since you have done MLT, that those theory questions will be expected as well. Like suppose I give you a regression question, like what is calculate the mean square error of these two tuples. I think that you should be able to do, right? Because in MLT we have done those things. Okay,
Okay.
but not
Okay.
core theory. We'll not go into MLT. Those things will be covered here as well. But you should have an idea of those as well. How the algorithm works and everything. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah. So don't worry about NTerm. We'll have some sessions dedicated to revision for NTerm also. I'll take sample questions and we'll solve them. So no issues on that. Right now, just work on grasping the concepts and understanding how the coding works, right? Because this will take some time. But I'll tell you, when you learn how to code with the pandas is the data cleaning part. When you go to the ML part with scikit-learn, that is the main library of the course. You'll find it very fun also. When you see and when you analyze big world data sets, that will be very good. So this course will
What is the library?
scikit-learn, sklearn.
Okay. Okay.
So pandas is basically actually the thing was earlier pandas knowledge was assumed, but since many of us have not done pandas before, now we have added it formally to the course, because when you work with scikit-learn, you need to use pandas before it to analyze the data. Then only you can use scikit-learn, right? So that's why now we are covering pandas as well to make it easier for you. Okay. Yeah. Any other question?
No, sir.
Okay, then let's continue. So I think iloc is fine. So now let's do one more thing on indexing without iloc. So iloc is something you can always do. That's the best way of indexing, but you can even index without iloc. So I'll give you a question once again. The question is, show me the product category of the 57th product. So 57th product means 57th row, right? Each row is a product. So what I want to do is I want to see the category of the 57th product. First of all, can you tell me how to do it with iloc? We just did that, but just as recap. Can someone tell me? Yeah, what to fill in the row and column?
56, comma 1.
Yeah, because second column and 56 is the row, right? So this give me the category, which is clothing. This is one thing. Now, suppose I don't want to use this iloc and I want to do it in an easier way. No, I find that easier. You might find iloc easier also. So it depends on you, but there's another way to do it. Simple. You do df dot, so not dot, you do the square bracket and you enter 56 here, right? Sorry, you have to enter the column number here. So you do df dot category here, right? So I've entered category and you see the entire column, right? So this is the one important thing. Whenever you're working with a data frame, you might have to actually work with columns itself. You might not have to work with the entire data frame. You might have to work with some column. So that is very simple. Just like you access, like suppose I have a dictionary, right? This dictionary we saw, and we want to access some key. We can just, like suppose this was a dictionary initially that we did, the D dictionary. I just want to see the name key. So I can just do D of name, right? And I can see the names. In the same way in pandas, if you want to see a particular column, you can simply just do df and then index that particular column name, and you see the column. Okay. So suppose I want to see the other column, that is df of clothing, sorry, not clothing, df dot price, right? That also I can see an entire column. Suppose I want to see multiple columns together. That is also possible. Now I want to see both the category and price. So what I'll do is I'll index, instead of just writing category and price, I'll create a list here. And inside this list, I will have category first, and then I will have price. Okay, so now basically what I'm seeing is I'm seeing all the categories and I'm seeing all the prices. Clear? So what I'm doing simply is, just like a dictionary can access its keys, I can access the columns of a data frame. First, I'll access the price column with df.price. Okay, then I access the category column with df of category. Right? Simple, just like you do in dictionary. And if I want to access multiple columns, I'll simply create a list here. And in the list, I'll give all the column names which I want to index. Right? Suppose I want to index the quantity as well. So I'll just write quantity here. Yeah, so now I got the quantity as well, right? So basically I want to now remove the category. I just want the price and quantity. I remove the category and I just get the price and quantity. Right? So initially you can create one index with just mentioning one column name. If you have multiple column names, just mention it in a list. Okay, this is a list here. The green one is the list. Again, here you can mention any column name, any order. That's your choice. Completely.
Sir, any particular row is possible without iloc?
Yeah, we'll do that. No? I'm just showing the column first, then we'll do the row as well on this.
Okay.
Now suppose I want to access a row. So this is not the way. So I think we have to do it in the easier way. We have to do head and tail for this. Okay, so what we can do is we have to apply head here. Yeah, so basically the initial way that with head and tail we can do it. So suppose I want to access the second row. So I can do head of 2, right? And then I can just do tail of 1 and I can access the second row, right? Suppose I want to access the third row. So I'll do head of 3 to see the first 3 rows and I'll do this one. So I see the first 2 rows, otherwise I can again do tail of 1 just to see the second row. Okay, so here the indexing, the direct indexing with zeros and ones you cannot do. The thing that you can do here is you can first index the columns and then you can apply head and tail to view a particular row and column of that particular row using that head and tail combination. That you can do. Okay, with iloc you can actually get rid of this part. That's why we showed iloc earlier, because you can get rid of this part. This is the complicated part where you have to figure out what the head is, what the tail is. That is a slightly difficult thing to do. But you can still do that, because in most of the datasets you know what row to access, right? Suppose I said the 57th row, so you know you will take the head of 57 and you will take the tail of 1 to see that particular row. That will be mentioned in the question, right? So that you can do with this combination. It makes things very easy. Okay. So is that clear? Any question on this? Okay, I'll ask you a question. Just give me the code for that. Okay, think about the code for that. So give me the product category and quantity for the 10th product. Okay, how to do it? Can someone tell me?
Using iloc? No, using loc, LOC.
No, using this method. This one.
So in the head we can put
Sir, head 9 instead of 3.
Okay. Head 9 instead of 3. But head will be 10, right? We have to see
Yeah,
10 rows.
head will be 10.
Yeah, head will be 10.
And
Tail will be 1 because I want to see the 10th row.
Tail will be 1.
Yeah, one more change is required.
Category also.
Instead of price, we have to change
category, right? That's
So category.
So now let's see this.
Price.
No, quantity, right? We want to see the quantity. So we want to see the category and we want to see the quantity for the 10th row, which is basically head of 10 and tail of 1, where we see this. Okay.
So
any question on
that?
Yeah.
There is a give me the product category quantity.
No, product category is category. No, the name of the product category variable is category. So just the category.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So no issue. So I'll just remove this from here. Okay. Now these are basically how OPP questions will also be there. So this is what you should know. So I will mention, give me the category and quantity for the 10th product. You have to write the code, find it, and then you have to enter in the portal. Right. This is how we take the OPP. So this is going to prepare you for the OPP as well, side by side. Okay. So OPP question, see, the thing is, like, I have heard that many people are saying that OPP becomes difficult. It is not difficult. It is just that you read the question and you just have to identify what pandas technique you have to use. Once you get the technique, then it's very simple, right? It's not difficult at all. Okay,
it will be a simple 1-line, 2-line code, or
See, there will be many questions in on OPB. The first few questions will be on data cleaning with pandas, which is pandas codes are always 1-2 lines, so you can do that easily. Then it will be on model building with scikit-learn. That will be 2-3 lines, not more than that. Very simple. See, that is 2-3 lines, but it's very simple. All the scikit-learn codes are very similar. So when you write one, you can just change that. Just small things you can change, and you can write the others also. We'll see that from next week. You'll get an idea for that. Okay.
Okay.
I would say, in my personal opinion, MLP OPP is very easy. It is very interesting also compared to the other OPPs which you give, which involves a lot of coding, right? This is going to be very easy for you. It's just that you have to read the question and get the exact frame of mind of how to figure out what technique to use, right? That's why I'm showing you multiple techniques so that you can get an idea. Like this was like, suppose I don't show you this and I just show you iloc. You can even do this with iloc, right? This is not even required. But again, it's just that sometimes some technique becomes easier for us to understand rather than some other technique. Okay. So any other question anyone has? This is fine so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's now go into the next part, which is statistics. This is the fun part, and this is what you will be using in your project as well. Okay. So pay very good attention to this. This is something which is going to be very crucial for your project as well as for your Kaggle assignments as well as for your OPP. Okay. So let's understand what to do. Now, whenever we have large data sets, we have to do some stats on it, right? Now, what is stats? Just to understand, stats can be many things, but mean, median, mode, average of some column, highest value of some column, lowest value of some column. These can be basic stats, right? Suppose I give you my first question. We'll do it question answer way. That will make it like slightly easier. Which is the most expensive product? This is my first question. So without coding, can you tell me what do I want to do here? What do I want to find? Without coding. The code I'll tell you. What do I have to do? What is the approach for this? Suppose this is your OPP question, which is the most expensive product. What will you do? What is your
maximum of the price?
The price tag.
Maximum of the price, right? We have to find the maximum of the price, right? Same thing we'll write in code, and you'll see just what we said in English, which is maximum of price. Same thing we'll do in code.
I think max.
Yes. So we'll first index the price column. Right? Because we don't need the entire data frame for it. We just need the price column for it, right? So we get the df.price, and simply we do this function max. That's it. And this is the maximum price. Right? Now suppose I ask you which is the least expensive product. Instead of max, you do min. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Right? So df.price, you do min. Okay. Now
So
suppose
if you want to know which product is this.
Yeah, if you want to know which product is this, then can you tell me, like, can you think about it? What we can do? How to do that? See, basically, have you like?
I think there is
filtering,
IDX
right?
max.
Filtering. No, that is also there, but there is something called as filtering. Basically, what is filtering? Have you done DBMS? Has anyone done DBMS here?
Yes, sir.
So basically, when you write an SQL query, you say select this row where the price is max, right? And you get the entire row.
Yes, sir.
So basically, that's what we're going to do here. We're going to select the row and we're going to select that row where the price is maximum. Okay, that is called as filtering. I'll show you that how it's done with the code. So basically, inside the filter, we'll do a selection, a simple iloc type of a selection we'll do, and we'll, instead of putting a row and column, we'll just put this condition there, and that will give us that particular row where we can see the product name, information, and everything. Okay, so we'll see that. Okay, we'll see the filtering part in a while. Right now, let's just see the statistics. Once we are done with the statistics, we'll see the filtering also. Okay, so yeah. So any question on this? This is fine. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you another question then, and we'll see how to solve that. So next question is, what is the range of price? So I think range, everyone knows what range means, right? What is range? Can someone tell me the definition of range?
Minus
Maximum minus
Max. Mean.
minus
max.
As a minimum to maximum.
Yes.
Yeah. Minimum to max. Basically, the range means the maximum minus the minimum, right? In stats, you have done this, max minus min. Suppose I say the most expensive product is 100 rupees and the least expensive is 10 rupees. That means I have a price range of 90. 100 minus 10, right?
Yes.
Same thing I want to do with pandas. Now, just let me tell you, pandas has no range function. There is no function for getting the range. Okay, there is no such function which has for to calculate in range. There is no direct function. Like I cannot do df.range. That will not be anything we can do with pandas. So can you think of, without doing it, can we get the range? Is it possible? With these, can we work with these and do something?
Yeah.
We can
By
What can we
assigning the
do?
variables and then like taking the
Right.
difference.
Absolutely. So let's assign this as two variables, maximum, right, and minimum, right? So minimum. So we run this and we get the next variable range, which is maximum
minus minimum.
minimum, right? And we'll just print this range as well. And that is this, whatever. So whatever the maximum was that it took here, whatever the minimum was that it took here, and just subtracted it, and we got the range. Okay. So again, there are some formulas which Pandas does not directly have, so you can build them using your given formulas, right? So when you go to ML and all those things, when we work with ML, there will be some loss functions, some formulas which Pandas does not have. Like mean squared error is a formula that Pandas does not have, but we can build it with some other formulas. So that's also something you should know. If you know the formula, mathematical formula, you can use existing Pandas code to build that, create new code. Okay, that's very simple. Okay, that is there. So now suppose we want to see total products my shop has sold. Okay, what to do for this one?
Counting
Sum.
Sum of quantity.
Sum of quantity. If I
Quantity
sum all
sold.
the quantity, that's the total quantity I have sold. So basically df dot, not dot, sorry, we have to index it. So df dot quantity, right? And sum. We have the sum function also. So we do this and that's it. This is the sum. Okay. Now one problem here, not a problem, just a convention, that the data which you saw here, like this data which we were seeing, all the values which you see in numbers, they are floats, right? They're decimals. Everything is a decimal by default. It's not an integer. And when you see this float here, this does not look good, right? Because I wanted the answer to be 4427, not like this, right? 4427.0. So can I convert it? Is there any way I can convert this to 4427, the exact value?
Yes, sir.
How to do
Put
that?
value under the print.
Print. Okay, let's try that. So let's see print total. So we'll call this as a variable total and we'll print total. But again, I'm seeing the zero. Right? I want to remove the zero. I saw the need the np.float got removed,
Yes,
but I
sir.
want to remove the zero. I just want 4427 because I have sold 4427 products, right?
int.
So using
Yeah,
int function.
just do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Can we replace it? Yeah.
Yes. Now we have.
Just to do an enter simple, because see, why I wanted to show you this is because Pandas is a Python library, right? The Python functions will be there. So whatever initial Python functions you add, you can work with basic Python also inside Pandas. So int is a Python typecasting function, right? We can change the type of one variable to another using this int, right? So we can even use it with Pandas to format the output. Okay. So sometimes again in the OPP, we can ask you, give me the integer. The answer might be integer value, right? So suppose you want to enter the integer value, we will have to typecast it like this and get this int value. Right, the formatting of the output. We'll not be very focused on these things, but just to make sure that these things can also be done. I've shown this example, right? So, okay, so I think that is pretty clear. So any question on this? So I think this was the basic stats. You can also do average, okay? That will be just the mean. So just take mean here and you get the mean, the average, okay? So that also you can do. Okay, so any questions on this? Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
sir.
great. There are more functions also, that is median, mode and all are there. So again, just call them like this and I think you can explore them. So I'll give you the collab, you can explore and play around with those functions as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So this was the main thing. Okay, one more thing, let me just show you just for convenience. So what we did here was we were indexing two columns together, right, initially. Let me just copy this part. Now suppose I want to see the statistics for both the columns, right? Suppose I want to see the maximum of both of them. So I can even do this. That will also work, right? So I'll basically see the maximum of price and I'll also see the maximum of quantity. So you can do it with multiple columns as well. So basically the idea is whatever you do with pandas in one column, you can do that with multiple columns also. Okay, that's the idea. So you don't need to stop and you don't need to write again and again. So suppose I ask you in the OPP, what is the maximum of price and what is the maximum of quantity? You don't have to write this code 2 times. You can just index it twice and write it once. That makes the job very easy, right?
And if we'll just remove that everything like the price and the quantity and we'll only keep df, then that will give all for all the columns.
Let's test it. Okay, simple thing. Let's test it. It should, because generally by default things
Yeah,
go on the
yeah.
entire data. No, it will not. It will not. So it's not giving. Okay. Now see, these are some conventions. The pandas document, all these Python libraries, the conventions keep changing. So maybe today we are not able to see, day after tomorrow we can see. So they keep updating the libraries, right? So just try it out and test it in the code and see if it's working or not,
Yeah.
right?
So
Like
like
the
if we
iloc
were
thing,
to
yeah.
if we were to find the maximum or the mean for all the columns, then
So just enter the mean for all the columns. Okay, there is another shortcut for that, but just the long way, just enter the names of all the columns, right?
yeah,
So
okay.
so here, what was the next one? I think the name was one column, right? So name and category.
Like,
So
is there any other hack or
there is,
something?
Yeah,
Sort of
I'll just show that in a minute. There is a hack for everything. Actually, whatever we did so far can be done in one line. Everything can be done in one line. I'll show
yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
this
Fine.
is the big way, like the conventional way. Okay, name is not a column name. So what was the column name? Just see the column name. Product name. Okay, so it was product name. So this head, see, I used the head function just to see the data. I forgot what the name of the column was, and I just used the head function and saw the name, right? So this is how you use these functions, and that's how you will learn them. Right, so now I just used, okay, again a error, some other spelling mistake will be there, I think. Okay, I think this is one very interesting error. So can you tell me what this error is? Why are we getting this error? The code is correct.
This is object.
Yeah,
Order
exactly.
of the columns
Exactly.
names.
No, order is fine. There is no issue with order. The problem is name and category, they are not numbers, right? So how will you get the maximum of that? Right? So see, this error you saw, this operation maximum, the maximum means greater than equal to, right? This operation is not supported between instances of string and float. It means strings cannot do this, right? So product name is a string and category is a string. That's why we cannot do it. Okay, so now we can do it because now we have just numbers, right? So this was also a very important error. So when you do the MLP project, you will find out such many errors, which are very simple, trivial errors, but you have to read the error. So reading the error is also pretty important. Okay. Okay, now let me show you the hack. That is the one, my favorite function in Pandas. This is the function which will actually be telling you that whatever we have done so far, it's not required because we can do it with one word. So just use this function df.describe and see what we do. We see everything, all the numeric, obviously we will not see the product name and category because those are string columns. For numerical columns, we see all the statistics in one word and one go. So we see the count, which is the number of values which are there. We see the mean, right? We see the standard deviation, which is another important statistical formula. We see the minimum. Okay, we see quartiles. So I hope you remember from statistics, we did something called as quartiles, right? First quartile, second quartile, and third quartile. So we
Yes,
see
sir.
them as well.
Yeah.
And the maximum. So everything we have seen, right? Mean, the second quartile is the medians. If you remember, this is the median. That means this is the median. Third quartile, the maximum, the minimum, standard deviation. Okay, all the data, the count, how many numbers are there, it's everything we have seen in one go with this function df.describe. You can also, like, if you just want to see for one column, you can also do that. So suppose you want to just see for price. So df.price.describe. So this also you can do. Okay, so just you see
I
this.
think, sir, these all things will be given in any documentation also.
In Pandas documentation, everything you will find, everything. Okay, so see, there are two ways of reading the documentation. One is you open the documentation and read everything one by one. Second way is if you want to know a particular function, that you want to know this describe function, you don't know how this works. So just write pandas describe, right?
That's the best thing, sir.
Yes, so just write pandas describe and you will find this directly. You'll go here and you will see, first of all, you can read what this is telling about, okay, and then you can do this. So yeah, the examples you can see. So with this example, you'll understand how it's working, right? So this is what we got, right? This is the output. We got all these things in the output right now, right? So whenever you want to know any function, the best thing is you go to the documentation, which is the reliable source of Pandas, read the documentation, see the examples, and the best thing is you can just copy the codes there and run it on your collab and do some changes on it, right? So you can play around with the code. So you'll learn it as well. Okay? Pretty simple.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
How MLT is linked with MLP?
How MLT is related with MLP? So MLT taught you the theory of all the ML concepts, right? Which is the linear regression, logistic regression, classification. So in MLP, what we'll do is we'll apply them with code to analyze the real data sets which are there. So on real data, like this data which you see, what I can do is I can train this data, right? And then I can give you new products and tell you predict the price. So how will you predict the price? Because you have trained the regression model on this data for the price, right? X will be all these things, and Y will be the price.
So basically, we are applying all the algorithms in a coding.
Yes.
Language.
So whatever
There's no need
theoretically
to
you have
get
learned,
dive
you're
into
applying.
the. So sir, it's like in MLP we are not going deep in the algorithm, just like we go already in.
No, we are not going
right?
deep into theory. We are going deep in the data cleaning and the applying the code to run the algorithm. Yes. So it's not theoretical. It's a completely practical course. So
And the
basically,
secondly, sir.
yeah. Tell me.
Yes, sorry, sir. Sorry. Go ahead.
No issues. Tell me.
Yeah, sir. Secondly, I'm saying if any person who took project and MLP both together in the same term,
See,
I
you
know
will
it's not a good
find it
way,
difficult.
but if already took, then how can he do?
See, one way is if you want to complete it this term itself, then you have to watch all the lectures of the upcoming weeks also, because the project will be based on all the weeks. No, not all the weeks, but most of the weeks. Not see the initial weeks are teaching you cleaning, so you can start cleaning your data set with all whatever I've shown today, right, in your project as well. Then comes the applying the algorithm that we'll see from week 3 and week 4. So you have to wait till then, right? So
I
if
think, sir,
everything
the
aligns with your deadline, then it's okay. You can learn on the go and apply, but it will be difficult to do that. I'll tell you, because MLP is a very heavy course. And see, the idea is it was a heavy course, so we have to remove quizzes. So if you have to remove quizzes, that means the course was very heavy, right? That's the idea. So learning this course takes time. You have to learn it first before the project. You can
So
do
my
it for the next term. You can drop the project for this term. That won't be an issue.
Oh, okay. Sir, okay, I was thinking obviously the date will come to drop, but sir, I'm asking how many weeks are enough to get in the project?
See, that depends on your problem statement. The initial 3 weeks you have to, because that is data cleaning and pre-processing. In any project, you have to do that. So 1, 2, 3 are very important. After that, it depends on what the problem statement is. Is it a regression problem statement? So week 4 and 5 become important. If it's a classification,
So it's classification based.
Then the later weeks, 7, 8, 9, 6, all those ones will be important.
So 9 also important?
Not sure about 9. I think 6, 7, 8. 3 weeks of classification we have. Because classification is much more detailed than regression. We cover it on many weeks because there are many algorithms in classification. Regression we do
Sir,
first.
actually, I did the same in Med 1, Med 2 also. I took a theory and then project I took a theory. And what I did, I usually complete 8 weeks first. And then I start a project within, maybe it takes 10 days. Usually Med 2 take 10 days. Med 1 also take 10 to 15 days.
Yeah.
Maximum. But this time, actually, the deadline is actually in November, sir. So that was a problem for me.
Yeah,
It's
see,
not shifted to the end term.
we recommend that you do the project after the course, so the deadline fits in that way. If you do it with the course, then it becomes slightly difficult to manage.
Yes,
Actually,
it's
sir, in
same
Med 1,
problem with me.
sir, Med 1, we got a deadline after the end term. Like, obviously, sorry, not after the end term, you're close to the end term. Like after quiz 2, we can say. So obviously, if we are going to give quiz 2, we are already done with the week 8 content. Right?
Yeah, correct.
So we know most of the things. But in Med, then in MLP, I didn't read the FAQ also. So in FAQ, it's clearly mentioned, don't take the project along with the theory.
Because see, it is a luck game. If you get regression, you can cover it early and do the project. If you get classification, you have to wait till it's done.
Right? By the way, sir, I just checked the project session also. So I think project session are enough or they are not.
Yeah, they're enough. See, they are enough for guiding you for the project, but they will assume that you know this theory, right? They will not teach you pandas from beginning in the project session. They will assume you know pandas. Isn't
so
it?
I know, sir, all these basic things. I already know. I'm already done BTech. So I know all these things.
Then you can go ahead. No? Then if you know, then there is no issue. You can start with yourself.
But main thing, sir, I want to know how much week is we have to, just like for Med 2, I cover week 8 and then I start the project.
For the week,
Should I do the same?
Tell you, the week 1 to 3 you have to do, because that's a pre-processing week. That will come in any project, irrespective of regression, classification, or whatever it is. After that, if it's classification, do the weeks which have classification, right? You can check the course playlist, right? Just see which weeks have classification and cover that. I think it is 5, 6, 7, or maybe 4 as well, because the course content got revamped, so I'll have to confirm that. But 3, 4 weeks in the middle have classification. So those.
So course content, what happened to course content?
Revamped. We reorganized it a little bit. Like some weeks.
So any new?
No, nothing new. It was got reorganized to make it slightly easier. Okay, reorganized. Redistribute. Basically, some topics got distributed to some week, some topic got distributed to another week, like that. No, nothing new is there. Everything is same.
Okay.
If you compare it to the MLP 2 years ago, then many things are new. But if you compare it to last term's MLP, then there is nothing new. Same thing we are offering this time also. It's just that there is some restructuring of the course to make it easier. Some weeks were a little more heavier, so we make it even on all the weeks. So it's same load.
Okay, so for last comment, so basically you are saying week 1, 2, 3 is very important for whatever the problem, or whatever the like model you are going to use.
Yes.
And let's say if you are using classification, then directly you can jump to the
Directly
classification
jump.
box.
Yeah. If you're using classification,
That would
skip
be
the
helpful.
regression part and go to classification straight away, right? That you can do.
So there is no link between regression and classification, obviously, because they are
No, there is no
different.
link. Yeah. Independent. If you have a classification problem, you will not apply linear regression to that, right? So it is independent. Yeah. But
Yes, so that
pre-processing will be
was
there in any week, every project. So you have to do 1, 2, 3.
week 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay, any other question in this regard? Anyone has any doubt in the project or something? You can ask in the project session as well. You can ask here also.
Sir, do we have TensorFlow in this course?
No. Not in this course. You have TensorFlow, PyTorch, and degree level. Not in this course.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So what about in DL? The new course introduced DL?
Yeah, in DL we have PyTorch. PyTorch we have. And I think TensorFlow, I don't know about TensorFlow, but PyTorch we have in detail because PyTorch is the more trending one nowadays in the industry also. So we cover PyTorch mostly. Yeah. But let's say in the end, they both do the same thing only, right? So you can master any one of them and that is sufficient.
So you are also the same instructor for DL?
No. Somebody else. I'm doing for MLP only. So which DL are you talking about? Degree level DL or the diploma level DL?
Diploma level, sir. New one.
Yeah, diploma level. I am one of
leader of
the
BDM.
Yeah.
So
In that I am one of the instructors.
So that's a very wonderful things I get from ITM. BDM is the very bad project for everyone.
See, actually, it is a very good project, but collecting the data, I understand, is a difficult thing. So that is why we are giving another option with the AI project.
Yes. So due to the field work, it's very hectic.
Yeah, I understand. True.
I know, sir.
But
It's
see,
one of the
the
best.
idea is if you actually get the data, then it becomes a very good project. Once you get the data, it's a very real world project. So that's why that was one of the most unique ones. But I understand getting the data is not very easy for everyone. That's why they have offered another route now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other question? Okay. So I think we can continue coming back to the session. So, okay. So we have understood. This is fine, right? Any questions on this? Can we move to the next part?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So describing is fine. You can just play around with it again, see some more variations of it. But the basic crux is describe gives you all the stats for every column you want. By default for every numerical column, or otherwise you want for some column, index it and get it for some column. Okay. This is very important. So this you have to pay attention to because this is going to be very useful for the project also. You cannot proceed in the project if you don't know this. This is very, very, very important.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is null value first of all? Now, whenever I'll give a quick idea, whenever you're collecting data in the field, like whoever will collect data and give you, there will be many times some column which is missing. Like for example, I'm collecting marks data for someone. I get the name is Suhani, the class is 10, physics marks is 20, but I forgot to enter the chemistry marks, right? If I forget to enter the chemistry marks, that is a blank row. In Python, the blank row is denoted by NaN. Okay, so NaN means blank. So this is what you'll see here as well. I'll just show you some sample here. So yeah, this is here it's showing like this, but if you see it in code, I'll just show in code, it shows as NaN. So NaN means null, absent. This value is missing from here, right? So what is the problem? Why do we actually have to care about it? Because when you apply an ML algorithm, like suppose you apply linear regression on this, if there is even one missing value, the algorithm will not work. The code will fail. They'll give you error, right? Because ML algorithms cannot work with missing values. You have to, even if there is one missing value in one lab, then also it will not work. You have to remove it somehow, right? So that is why, first of all, whenever we see the data, seeing the missing values is very important. Are there actually any missing values? So we might be very lucky there is no missing value. That's very good for us. But in real world data, there will be most cases where there are some missing value or the other. So this case will come into picture in that way. So how do you actually see if there is any value missing? There are two ways of doing that. Same command, but some two modifications in that. The first thing is you run this. This is the actual command. Is null. Okay. So is null, I think from the name you can understand, is null is a question. Is the value null or is the value not null?
Yes.
Okay. So when I run this, you'll see a little different type of an output here. What it does is it gives you the entire data frame and it gives you a true false. So basically you're asking the question, it is null. So is null false means it's not null. The value is there. Is null true means it is null. The value is false. That means in this third column, the fourth row and the second column, this is false. So for the fourth product, I am missing the category, right? I'm missing that. So let me just even show you from the indexing only. So let's do iloc here. So iloc. And we'll see this row, which is row number 3, and we'll see the column number 2, right? So see this NaN. So that means this value is missing, right? So this is null will give you true, false, and it will just show you how many values are missing and how many values are not missing, right? But a problem here, you are not going to be able to see, right? You can't say, right? Are five values missing in category? You can't say that, right? You can just see and see how many trues and false are there, and it's going to be very cumbersome to actually see what is true, what is false. So it's not a very useful method. So what we do is just on this method itself, we call this sum. Okay, what the panda sum which we right now saw, and just see what it'll do. It gives you a count. It gives you a count of all these values. That means in the product name, 12 values are missing. In the category, 13 values are missing. Price, 8 values are missing, and quantity again, 13 values are missing. So when you just call the sum function, this does the work. Let me tell you how it actually does it. So let me go back to this original code. The idea is these codes are true and false, right? So in Python, if you remember, true stands for 1 and false stands for 0. This you might have seen in the original Python course, right? True is 1 and false is 0, right? So when you're doing a sum here, obviously the trues will get added because 1, 1, 1 will get added. So the number of times the true is added, those are your null values. So that's how when you do the sum, you get this output. Okay, this is the logic, simple logic. So it's just applying a simple code. It's converting the true into 1 and false into 0. True means the value is null. So it's just adding up the trues, and that means it's adding up the null values. Got it? Clear, right? Okay. No,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me one more thing. Like I can also do one more thing. Suppose I get this and I call sum again. Okay. What has happened? Like what do you think has happened on doing this?
Total. The
Sum of
let's
the
say
all null
all
value.
the
Yeah,
columns.
it has just summed this up, right? That means it has
Yeah.
given me what are the total values which are missing from the data set. This is what is our answer, right? So this is basically total missing values in data. And what is this? This is column wise. It's giving you a ratio column wise missing values, right? So basically first I can see what are the missing values column wise, and if I want to see what are the total missing values, instead of manually adding this, I can just call the sum function again because it's pandas, right? Sum function will work. So I'll call the sum again. So it's basically just taken the sum of this and given you the answer as 46. That's all, right? So this is very useful. So this is the first thing. Whenever you are saying missing values in a data set, you use this command called isNull. IsNull will basically give you a true false result, where true means it's missing and false means it's not missing, right? Then you can do a sum on it to just see the count category wise, which column has which missing value, which column has more missing value, and so on. And after that, if you want to see the total missing values in data, which is basically just the sum of all this, just call the sum function again, and you'll get the entire sum. Okay, 3 things. So simple isNull, then isNull dot sum, and then isNull dot sum dot sum. Okay. Any questions? Clear so far?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So I think that is the main thing. Now, how to remove these null values, that we will see in a while. Okay, but it's pretty simple. Okay, I'll just show you one way of doing it. There are many ways of doing it actually, and that is where you will actually explore these things in the project. So those who have the project, please pay attention to this because you have to try most of these ways to see which is better. There's no hard and fast rule. There are many ways of doing it. One method is you simply remove the rows. Okay, you simply remove the rows. Whichever is null, whichever row has any null value, you remove the row itself. So basically, I'll show you df dot, this is the command, drop na. So when you do this, what it has done is it has removed. See, can you tell me what has happened? Reading this, what has it done?
From 100 rows to 62.
That means it has dropped 38 rows which had missing values. Right? So 38 rows had these 46 missing values, and it has just removed those rows itself completely. So I had 100 rows of data. In those 100 rows of data, 38 rows of data had missing values. On doing this command df.drop_na, I have removed those 38 rows completely. Got it? Complete removal of the row. If
Yes,
any
sir.
one value is missing, if any two values missing, whatever, if there is any one also missing in a row, I remove it straight away. Clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Why not write in place equal to true?
Exactly. Yeah, in place equal to true. Yeah, that we can do. So basically, what is I've not done that because I don't want to change my data exactly because I want to work with entire data. That's why I've not done that. If you do this here, in place equal to true, this will modify your entire data. Right now, this is not done anything to data. Okay. Let's see the difference. What actually happens here as well. So if I just do this, if I see the df again, I have all my rows. Okay. So I have all my rows. So what happened to this? I had just removed 38 rows. Now where did those go? So whenever you are doing any change to the data frame, by default, when you run the command, it's just for testing. You can see what happens. If you want to make the change in it, you have to write in place equal to true. Okay, so when you give this parameter in place equal to true, this will actually modify the data set. right? So if I run this, then my final data will have 62 values. Currently, I'll not do that because I want to work with my entire data. But if you want to remove it in the project, you have to do n place equal to true. Okay, when you do not do n place equal to true, that means it is just testing it. It is showing you what will happen when you run this command. This will happen. It will remove 38 rows. Now, when you want this actually to happen in your data, you want the file to get modified, you have to just write n place equal to true. Or you can also do like this. You can just write the variable again. df is equal to df dot drop n. This will modify the df. Initially, I'm not modifying anything, right? I'm just seeing what the output will be when I do this. If I want to modify, I can just do n place equal to true, or I can just write the variable again like this, and the work will happen. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So right now I'm not doing because I want to see the entire data. It's a very small data, so I don't want to remove so much. But in the project, when you do that, you have to remove, right? Because that's what your processing will be.
Yes.
Okay, one question for everyone. Yeah.
So drop drop the only false row, means null
Yeah.
row.
So basically, it drops any row which has at least one missing value. Okay. So even if there is one missing value in any row, it will drop it straightforward. Now, if you remember, we saw just a little while back that row number 3, this row had a missing value, right? This row had a missing value. And if you see this row, now this row is gone. There is no 3 here, right? You can see straight away from 2 to 4. 3 is gone. So because 3 had one missing value, we have removed the row 3 straight away.
So inside the drop NA, can we write some row or columns name?
No, you can't, because drop any function means drop any null row. You cannot specify the drop this particular null row. That you can't do. You have to specify that this function means drop any row which has a null value. That's the meaning of this function. Okay. So again, let's see the documentation what it says. So drop NA pandas. So see, it is a method in pandas used to remove missing values from a data frame. It is a crucial. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this was the definition. Drop NA removes any row that contains at least one missing value. Right? So by default, any row it will go through all the rows. It will check all the rows, and any of the row which has any even one missing value, it will remove it straight away. That's all. Okay, you cannot specify which to remove. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll ask you a question now. Now see, this drop NA is one very easy method to drop the null values. Like straight away, just remove the row, right, and the null values are gone. Do you think this method is good?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why is it not good? Like, what's the problem? It
Because
has
we are
removed the value.
removing certain values. If it is a
Yeah, we
small
are
data
removing
set,
a
it
lot of
will be
data, right? We're
problematic.
losing a lot of data. Like just was like this row number 3 just had one missing value, the category, but we have removed everything. We have just removed the product itself. So whenever you're training a machine learning model, you need a lot of data to make it very good, right? And with this drop NAC, out of 138 rows, that means 38% of my data is gone just with this. So it's not very good, right? It's not going to be very good. Suppose I just had one null row, then it's okay. I can remove it. But now that 38% of my data was null and I removed it completely, it is not good. I have very less data left now. So what do I do? The actual method that you can do to do this also you can do. If the null values are less, you can use this. But in case my null values are more, the better method to use is fill NA. Okay, so this is the method df.fill NA. Now what does fill NA mean? Fill NA simply means fill the null value, right? So fill the null value using a specified method. Okay, let's try a simple one. I'll just write df.fill NA
Just
0.
opposite of the drop NA.
Yeah, so drop NA means you remove the row with the null value. Fill NA means you add some value instead of it. Fill the null value. Okay, so right now what we did was we are doing fill NA and we are doing 0. That means whatever the null values were there, it has filled that null value with 0. So now if you can see the null value, this third row or second value was null, right? So it has filled it with 0. So anywhere where I have a null value, it has now replaced it with 0. So if you see here is also 0, here also 0, here also 0. All these were null values and I've just converted them to zeros. That's all. Right? Again, can you tell me, is this good? Have I done a good job?
No.
Why not? I have not lost any data. So why is it bad?
It might skew the data.
Exactly, it might skew the data, right? Because if my suppose price of 30 products was null and I've just replaced it with 0, obviously the price cannot be 0, right? I'll not sell my products for free. So it has skewed the data set very badly, right? So I cannot do this. So can you tell me what is a better thing to do? Can someone give me an idea what to do actually to
replace with mean or median?
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
right? Mean means average. So what does mean mean? That if I don't know the price of any item, I can say it's the average price. It will be somewhere close to the average only, right? So I can just replace it with the average price. So better is you actually fill it with some average. Now, obviously, if suppose my average is 3.2, I cannot write 3.2, right? This will be false because category cannot be 3.2. I have to do it column wise. For some column, I have to do something. For some other column, I have to do something else. So how to do that? Let's
Yes,
try to
right.
see first. Yeah. So let's test it like this. Let's first of all work with the price column, right? We'll fill the price with the mean. So what we can do is we can first find out the mean. So let's again do a mean. Let's call it mean here. df dot, not dot, sorry, df of price, and we can straight away just call the mean function here, and the mean we have got, right? And now what we can do is we can simply do df of price, okay, on this price column, because we're only working with price column, right? So that's why we have to index it, dot fill na, and we can just fill na with this mean, right? And now if you just see the price column, whatever null values were there, it got substituted with the mean value. Straightforward, right? Whatever was null, it has now been replaced with the mean value. Straightforward, nothing else, right? Now again, can you tell me one more thing? In price and quantity, we have filled it with the mean value, so it's very good. These are numerical columns. What can we do here? What can we do on these things?
So
Fill
count.
mode values.
Mode value, right? Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
basically, when you have categories, if you remember stats 1 and 2, for categorical data, mode is something we can use. Like which category is most frequent? Suppose clothing. I am a clothing store, so I'm selling some stationery also, but clothing is my most frequent category. So I can simply replace it with clothing if the category is missing, right? So how do I find the
Yes.
mode? This is a categorical column. This is not a numerical column, right? So I cannot just call a statistic function on this. Statistics will not work with this. If you saw earlier also that when we were using statistical functions on the numerical columns, it was failing. So what do we do for it? For doing this, we have another technique. So let's first discuss that. And that technique is basically called as unique entries and feature distributions. So what happens is, I'll show you the command first and you'll understand what happens. These are specifically for categorical columns. Okay, so these are specific to categorical column. You cannot work with numerical columns and use these methods. For numericals, you have the describes, mean, modes, and min, max, all this. So this is for categories, categorical column, the strings. Okay, so what you can do is you can run this first command, df of, let's work with the category only. Yeah, so df dot category dot unique. Okay, this is the first command. Okay, so what do you see? What we are doing is we are basically just seeing what all categories does the product have, right? So there are clothing category, there is a books category, food category. Obviously, there are some null values, so it's showing the nan as well, toys and electronics. These are the unique categories that I have, right? So basically, what it's doing is, in suppose I have this as my data frame, that I just have this boys, girls, right? And if I do unique, okay, some like 30 boys are there and 50 girls are there. If I run the unique command on the data, I'll just get the output as boys and girls. That means one group is boys and the other group is girls. In the similar way, in our case, we had categories. We had 5 categories, which is clothing, books, food, toys, and electronics. When we ran the unique command, we got the name of all the 5 categories, right? So is that okay? Have you understood this?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Now we have got the name of the categories, that is fine, but we still don't know, right, which category we have to fill the null with. We have to fill the null with the maximum one. There is no information that this clothing is maximum or the books is maximum or the toy is maximum. Nothing is filled, right? So for that, what we can do is we can use another very similar method. So both these methods are very important. This method is called as value count. Okay, so what we'll do is df of category, and we'll call this as value counts. So now we have got what we wanted, right? We have 23 electronics, 20 toys, 19 clothing, 17 food, and 8 books. So basically what it has done is it has given me a count of all the categories. 23 items are electronics, 20 items are toys, 17 items are food, 8 items are book, and 19 items are clothing. We have got the frequencies. Now what we can do is we can come back here and we can actually get the job done, right? We know which is the most frequent category. The most frequent category is electronics, right? So what we'll simply do is we'll do df of category and we'll do the fill na, right? Fill na, and we'll fill it with electronics. Okay, so whatever was null, it has filled it with electronics and it has completed the job. So if you remember, the third column had a missing category, so now it has been filled with the word electronics, right? So for numerical columns, what we did was we filled it with the mean, which was very simple to calculate using the statistics that Pandas gives us. For the categorical column, which was this category, we have filled it with the mode, right? There is no direct method of calculating the mode, so we have to use these methods, the string methods, which is unique to get an idea of what the unique categories were, and then the value count to see which category was most frequent among the all categories. And that we found as electronics, so we can simply now use this fill na and we can fill it with electronics. That's it, right? So clear so far? Any questions on this?
No, that was fine.
Okay, so this is very important. When you work in your project, you have to use these methods, right? Because your data set 99% will have null values. If it has null values, first check them. How will you check them? With this is null, right? And wherever the is nulls are there, so with the sum and sum, you will check which columns have null values. Then once you know that numerical columns have null values, go and calculate their means or medians. You can even do it with median, that's also okay, and check which is better, right? And then you do fill NA with the mean and median. Then what you have to do is you have to basically do the null value check with the help of the categorical column with the unique and the value counts. You can check whatever categories were most frequent. When you have got whichever is the most frequent category, fill that in your null value for category, the categorical columns, and you'll get the output here as well, right? So the basic idea is after that, before you apply any ML algorithm to your data, you have to make sure that the data has no null value, and that you will make sure by either dropping the rows, which I showed you earlier, but that might not be the best idea. The best idea is you fill the rows with the mean and mode, and that will give you a good accurate result in the end. Okay, so yeah, we'll take a pause and we can pause for questions now. Any questions?
No, sir, I have no question.
Okay, others?
No, sir, all fine.
Right, great then. So this is done. So this is something that you can start. Those who have the project, you can at least start with this. This will give you some beginning to the project, right? Because this is the first step. Whenever you go to the ML project, this is the first step that you have to do. Okay, so that is done. So let's now move to the next part. Okay, so the next part is a pretty simple part. We have to, this we have covered. The sampling part I had covered earlier only. This is just the df dot sample, right? This we have seen earlier. Okay. All right, let's go to working with the columns now. So before working with the columns, let's try to understand this. Also we have done, we have seen different columns and we have applied different methods on this. So I think this section is also covered. Let's go to this section, which is very, very important. Again, in the project, this will come very useful. Creating new columns. So basically what does creating new columns mean? So suppose I want to see my data initially. So I'll just apply this head method, right? And I'll see this data. And my data initially has the product name, the category, the price, and the quantity. Now suppose I ask you a question here, a simple question. The question is, find the revenue of the store for shoes. This is my question. Okay, can you tell me how to go about this?
First, we have to multiply price and quantity.
Yeah, right. So basically revenue means what? Revenue is a simple economical formula which is price into quantity, right? So basically how much I have earned from the shoes. That will be the number of shoes into the price of each shoe. That is how much I have earned
Yes.
from a shoe, right? But currently if you see, that means what I need to do actually is I just need to do df of revenue and whatever the first value is, that is a shoe, right? So I'll just get the head of this, right? I'll just take the head of this, head 1, and I'll get the answer. But the problem is there is no revenue. I don't have revenue given to me. So what do I do? So for doing this, what you can do simply is in Pandas, you have the liberty of even creating your new columns. In machine learning, this is called as feature engineering. So in the project, there'll be a mentioned term that you can do feature engineering. This is what feature engineering means. Using the existing features, which are basically columns, you can create new features. Okay, somebody is on unmute. I think please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's try to do some feature engineering on this. So basically what we'll do is we'll create a column called as df of revenue. Again, the syntax is not very difficult. Okay, it's very simple. So this is your column. So you just index it before creating df of revenue. This revenue is what? This is simply df of price into df of quantity. Okay, so simple. So first you index the price column, then you index the quantity column, you multiply them, and you create a new column called revenue. That's all. So when you run this, you'll see what happens. Just a second, I think some cell got created by mistake. Yeah. So let's run this. And now we want to see the df now. And if you see the df, okay, let's just see the first 5 rows, df.head now. So now that you see this, yeah, so now we have the revenue, right? So for every column now, so every row now, we have a revenue, which is just multiplying the price and quantity. And if you see, just multiply 1317 into 2, you will get this value, and that's the revenue. So for every column, what it has done is it has taken the price for every row, it has taken the quantity for every row, it has multiplied the price and quantity, and it has generated a new column which is revenue and given the values for all the rows, right? Now suppose I want to find the revenue for shoes. Now I can simply do this df of revenue, right? And I can simply just take the head of it, right? That head of it will give me the first value of shoes, right? Straightforward. I can also do another question. Like, let me ask you, what was the total earning of the store? Can anyone tell me how to solve this?
Sir, taking the sum of
Sum
the
of
revenue column.
revenue,
Revenue of the
sum.
sum, yeah, sum of the revenue, right? So df of revenue, and we can simply just get the sum of this, right? And this is the value. So basically, this is so much. That means store did quite well. So you can see this much the total revenue that the store has
So
earned.
where can we see the project statements for MLP?
In the portal, I think it is there, right? You have a section called project. There will be the statement is given there, and even from the grading doc, you can access it. There will be a link to
Sir,
the Kaggle.
no, it is written regression classification problem that the statement. There is a registration form is there.
Okay.
No, no, no.
Actually, I
There's a link of Kaggle. When you will go to
yeah,
Kaggle,
yeah.
there
There
you
should be
have
a Kaggle
all the
link.
info. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, and
thank you, sir.
there is a link of Kaggle. When you click that, you will land at a page of Kaggle that will contain everything, all the details of the project, right? The problem statement, how to solve, and everything will be given there. Dataset. Okay, so just go to that link, you will find it. Otherwise, what you
Okay.
can do is, if there is any problem, make a dispose post, and there is another instructor, Anirudh, so you can tag him. Okay, he is for the projects. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so any question on this, creating the new column? So you can create any column, right? Any other column you can create. It's your choice. Whatever feature engineering you want to do. Suppose I want to do this. Now, obviously, this is not logical at this moment, but suppose I want to do this. This can also work. Okay, so this also will work. Whatever you want to do, whatever mathematical formula you want to apply, you can apply and you can create new columns and then you can work with them. So many times in the OPP also, what will happen is you will get a question, but that question will be slightly indirect. You will not be able to see how do I actually use the data and get that. So you can just engineer new columns and then it becomes so easy, right? So it's
Yeah.
very simple to solve it like this.
So
Okay.
this revenue is added in place in the DF, no?
Yes, in place in this. So how it got in place, because initially I'm already storing it like this, right? I'm doing this equal to. So it by default becomes in place. So I'm saying that df dot revenue equals to df of price into quantity. So by default in place it's doing, right? So whenever you do any pandas command, there is something before it, like so there's an equal to and something like this, then everything happens in place. Okay. If you just write the command like this, then it's not in place. But if you write an equal to sign in between, it will automatically do everything in place.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And
Okay.
for creating a column, that is the only way to do it because we have to add it to the data in place, right? So it's the only way we can do it. It modifies the data.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the idea. Okay. Yeah. So I think for today we have done the sampling, filtering, and all is slightly trickier. We can take it up in the next session because we are short of time right now. So any questions, we can take doubts and then we can wrap up for today. So any questions anyone has? So before we close the session.
Directly DF dot price or quantity won't work, no? We have to give indexing.
Yeah. Like in which case you would tell him?
For all the columns, referring all the columns, DF dot will not work.
See, I think it does work, but I'm not very sure. I think it works. If you just do this, this also might work. Okay, it's not working anymore. Yeah. It used to work
Capital
earlier.
P, capital P.
Yeah, it doesn't work. You have to actually index it like this only, like a dictionary. Because see, the idea is pandas is in the beginning of the session I told it, pandas is actually a dictionary. It is changing a dictionary into a data frame so that you can do operations on it easier, right? So basically, the indexing works in the dictionary way. You have to index it like this. Okay,
Okay.
just like you do it like this, not dictionary of key. So D
Yeah.
of name. Yeah, so just like you have to do it like this.
Sir,
So
maybe
basically,
use
this is a
capital P,
dictionary. Yeah.
df dot price, but capital P.
Oh, did I do small p by mistake? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then it should work because I remembered earlier it worked. I thought it has been changed. Yeah, it works. It still works. Thank you. Thank you so much. It still works. But I would tell you one thing. When I used to work with pandas initially, this method used to work for viewing it. But sometimes when we put it in calculations, it gave errors. So it's better you stick with this. This will
Yes.
always work. Okay, because sometimes in some advanced filtering and all, when we used to do, that time this used to not work. So it's better you stick with this and stick with one way because this will work in any case. Any way you use this will always work.
So the Kaggle account we have to make with our official student email ID for the project.
Yeah. Student ID. Yes.
Okay.
Because we have to map the Kaggle to your scoring, right? So that cannot happen if you don't have the roll number. From the name we don't do, right? Here everything happens with the roll number. So you have to map it with the student ID.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, any other question? Any other doubt in anything we have covered so far? So this actually covers the basics. Yeah. Donna.
Sir, it is a first session of the MLP, right?
Yes, first session. We'll have the next one on Thursday, but before that we'll have TA sessions. So you can attend them.
Okay.
Right? Because TA sessions you can even ask the doubts in more detail and cover a specific topic as well. That will be very helpful.
Last week, one TA session was there. It was not done, no, after the content release.
Okay, no, actually sessions are starting from this week. It might have been by mistake scheduled last week. We are starting it from today.
Okay.
Yeah. I think tomorrow we have a TA session probably. So that will be there.
Yes,
You
sir.
can check. It will be
Tomorrow
there.
have a session.
Yeah, that will be conducted. From this week we have started the session because officially this is your week 1, right? From Monday. So we have started the sessions from this week. The instructor sessions will be every Monday and Thursday. Every odd week, I'll be taking the sessions. Every even week, the Manoj sir is another instructor. He'll be taking the sessions. And TA session will be taken by 2 TAs, so on every week. Okay.
General question that drop courses form is not yet open, right?
I think around week 3 it gets opened every term. So not yet.
Okay, yeah, okay.
You will get I think they give you a mail, right? Every term there is a mail for the drops. You'll get the mail. Don't worry on that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, any other questions? Collab link will be in the portal. My name is Shayan. Okay, I'll just type it here. You can tag me. Say this is. You can tag me on Discourse as well. My Discourse tag
Can you
is
share the collab link here?
collab link here. Sure. Yeah. So I'll do that. So I've stopped the sharing. Okay, screen sharing. I'll just share the collab link here. I'll add it in the portal as well, but I'll share it here as well for everyone who is here. You can access it from here as well.
So for all the live sessions, collab links will be shared in the supplementary
for sure.
content.
Yeah, everything will be shared. Like suppose we take a live session on theory, we'll share the notes. Suppose it's on coding, like mostly in this course will be coding only. We'll share the collabs for all the sessions. In the portal also you will find it, and in the also in the live session also I'll share it after the session. So can you just anyone can just view it and tell me if the access is there? I have given the access. Just I want a confirmation if you can access the collab. Just one of you just check it out. Yeah, okay. Great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can see.
Yes, sir. Access is.
Yeah, and my name is Shayan, so you can find me on Discourse as well if you want to tag me. Okay, I'll be there on Discourse for helping you as well. And sessions I will be taking on every odd week, and Manoj sir will take on every even week. Okay, so this is week 1. So this is a